Everybody knows that Glock pistols are the best pistols on earth, right? Well, of course, Glock perfection is basically found in the 9x19 cartridge. Well, there's a lot of things about Glocks that many shooters don't like. And let me just say, I'm a big fan of Glock. Not picking on the Glock 26, just picking on Glock in general. I'm not a Glock hater. I love Glocks. I carry Glocks. I've owned a lot of Glocks. They are truly remarkable pistols, and they really have shaped the way handguns have been made. But there's just some things about Glock that some shooters don't know, or they do know. They just kind of pick on it. But I'm gonna kind of shed some light on it, and I'm kind of not real happy with Glock as a company right now, with how they've been running things, some decisions that they've been making. And first up, we'll just go ahead and pick on the sights. These sights, as they come from the factory, work real well. I've not had a problem with them, but my biggest problem is that Glock is no longer selling factory installed night sights onto any Glock models to civilians. Now, when you hear that, you're probably saying, yeah, right. Well, as of October 2011, when I found this out, went to the gun store, the gun store owner told me about it. Can you believe that? Doesn't that just piss you off? It pisses me off, because Glock is not, as to my knowledge, Glock is not a company that has really supported responsible citizens owning guns. And I hate to admit it, Glock, but even your Glock representative at the SHOT Show, admitted civilians to law enforcement military sales is 2 to 1. For every one gun that a law enforcement officer buys, it's it could be 3 to 1. I bet you it's more like 3 to 1. There's 2 civilians that buy a gun for every law enforcement or military gun that is sold. That's something, because if it wasn't for us responsible citizens out there buying these guns, loving them, digging them, and really putting them through their paces, carrying them, Glock wouldn't be a successful company. It's not the military and it's not the police. And there's other YouTubers that hint on this, and that really drives the point home. Why would Glock not sell factory installed night sights on their Glocks anymore? Who knows? I don't know. But that's just dumb leadership, in my opinion. I think in everybody's opinion that thinks that. Why shouldn't we be able to have factory installed night sights? I think me as a person, I'm sure other people say, well, heck, I'll just go ahead and take my money and give it to Smith & Wesson, buy a brand new Smith & Wesson M&P. What about Ruger SR9 or Springfield XT? What about the competition? Glocks aren't the only guns out there, and that's just how it is. Okay, what about the safety? The safety is in between your ears, or it's in your finger. You don't need an extra safety here to junk up things. I totally agree with that. But let's just face it, there are departments out there, there are individuals that like a manual safety. It's personal preference. It's I guess kind of just how they dig it. And Glock will not have even the option. Springfield XD, what do they have? They have an option for safety. Ruger SR9, they have an option. Smith & Wesson M&P, guess what? They have an ambidextrous option. Even the SR9 does too. So why does Glock not at least have the option for a safety? I think it's about time. Well, I mean, they're really stubborn on this safe action trigger, and they're just set on that, and they're just dead set. You'll find that when you do some research, Glock is a very narrow-minded company. They see things how they want them done, and that's it. And let's face it, Glock loses sales because they don't have this. Okay, it's just a thing. You gotta get over it with Glock. There's no customer listener like Ruger. Ruger is a great company, and if you're considering buying a Glock 26 or Ruger, I would say go buy the Ruger, just because Ruger's a better company. Not and the quality of the firearm. The Glocks are great. Like I said, I love Glocks, but the Ruger, between Glock and Ruger, which one's donating $1 million to the NRA if they sell 1 million handguns? It's not Glock. Nope. What about Springfield Armory? In Springfield Armory, what do? They really push civilian sales, and they take care of you. As far as I know, customer support will really take care of you, and they support the shooting sports as a whole. Does Glock do it? Not to my knowledge, but I'm sure they do, but not to the extent that Ruger and Springfield do. So what about that as a company? Do they treat the buyers better? That's us civilians, okay? I'm talking to the civilians here, not so much the law enforcement, military. That's one thing. What about this really annoying grip angle? And this is, I've heard some other YouTubers talk about this, even people in the gun store, and people that, just in my personal life. They hate this angle. The way it fits in here, especially the full-size pistols where they hit you here, it's just not comfortable. And here it bites you too. When you get a good grip on that middle finger, if you have a big middle finger like me, it's going to bite you here, and it's going to bite you here, and it's not comfortable. Where you pick up an M&P, you pick up an XD, it fits like a glove. Why has Glock not changed that? Maybe they solved the problem in the Gen 4. I really doubt it. But the only Glock that I'm comfortable, or halfway comfortable holding, is a Glock 26 with how it fits in my hand. And it still feels like it's biting me up here, and it's biting me right here. It's just the way it is. And Glock's reasoning is, I'll put this on right here. Do you see how the gun is pointed in like let's see, like if this is flat, it's pointed like in an up direction. So when you put it up here, it's like pointed up. You can't really tell from this camera angle. If you have a Glock, you can check it out, which gives it a lower bore axis where it's lower. You get less recoil. But as far as I know, the Smith & Wesson M&P has the same angle to it where it's pointing up, but it doesn't have this really annoying bump right here. And Glock will not change that. They just won't do it. And wouldn't it be great, a company as huge as Glock is, with as many, law enforcement sales as they've had, and even civilian sales, which is even bigger than law enforcement, why wouldn't they have an option of a regular grip in a Glock? You know how much that would sell? What about the option up here? And now they're taking away our night sights. It's just, something you got to think about. Oh, this is, I'll put this up here. The only subcompact in basically nowadays that doesn't have a rail. So that's something to think about too when you think about your Glock purchase. Do you want to buy a Glock 26 or Springfield XD or Smith & Wesson M&P 9C? I would advocate, as of October 2011, not that there's anything wrong with the Glock, but I recommend you buy a more pro-gun company. It's just how it is. And also, another just kind of nitpicking here, not really related to, I guess it would be. All Glocks look really boxy, except for the subcompact models, where they have this contour slide. Let's face it, Glock is really, it doesn't need to look good, it just needs to work good. Well, males, specifically, are very visually stimulated. It turns them on, the looks, how it looks. When they pick it up, it's just butt ugly, when you look at the looks, I like the Glock looks, I guess. It looks alright. Simple and it works. But, this contour slide adds a lot of cool looks to the Glock line. And I don't know why they don't do it to all their pistols. It's not that hard. I dig this. Everybody digs. Everybody I've ever talked to likes this contour slide here. And that's why you'll see XD, the M&P, the new Rugers, and just every gun you can think of has cool looks, especially the XDMs. Oh, those look amazing. So, that's just one thing I've never heard anybody talk about on YouTube. And why doesn't Glock be more pro-gun? Because to me, I'm not going to buy another Glock. Just period. That's just my little thing. No big deal. But like I said, I love Glocks as a gun. The guns they're great, but you have to be in the Glock mindset, because if you're not in that mindset, you're out of luck, and you're kind of just pushed aside. See you later. Bye bye. One more thing I wanted to hit on. The video is getting a little long, but the slide release, or the slide lock, or whatever they call it, I don't know. But this right here, people say they don't like it. Well, I like the size of it right there because it's low profile, and I don't ever get in the habit of releasing the slide that way. I always do this, So I never even use this, because when I'm racking it back, I just use the magazine. Makes sense? So I just do this. I don't even use that. So no big deal. I think kudos goes to Glock there for that. And that's it, guys. Glock and roll.